All right. How are we on the sound? Apologies for that. Was just having a heart-to-heart with a family member. But okay. Why you wear a hoodie in the summer? Well, let's look at the weather in Washington right now. This is the weather in Washington, okay? It is 56 outside, Wednesday at 5 p.m. Mostly cloudy, even though we do have rain on the forecast. But my house is built into a hill, and if you know anything about being underground in the dirt, it is cooler down here. And I'm bad when it comes to temperature. I like being warm. So 56 in the basement is a lot cooler than 56 like on the main floor. So yeah. Also, I wanted to wear it because I just got these in. I was looking for more colors and of just hoodies, and I'm like, wait, I have merch. Why not just buy different colors of hoodies? Because let me see if I have. Yeah. So let me show you guys my stuff. So you guys know I love wearing hoodies, right? So we've got the SK Hynix one that I always be wearing. And then we got my merch one that I also wear often on the videos and streams in blue. Still looking really good. This goes through the wash often. I've got to turn it inside out to keep it protected for the longest. And then I got orange one. So I want to complete the rainbow of my hoodie attire. So then I recently picked up a purple one of my own merch. And, also to test the quality, because I released this merch a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. So I haven't personally ordered new stuff from them for a while. So I want to make sure the company that I'm working with my merch is still, putting out good quality prints that's durable, that's nice and vibrant and good. So it came out looking real good. This is the purple one. And yeah, that's a self-plug almost. Reminding people that I do have merch in general. But let me get to the first person in stream tonight. It's Staying 2007. What up? What up, Craig, Lily? Yes, I did put a subscriber chat thing in right now, and it's only a minute, and I'll explain why I did that to begin with. It is because over the last few weeks, we have had new people come to the stream and be highly, engaging and active and talking and stuff. That I don't know how they found the stream. If it was in the YouTube front page, randomly showed it to them, or they saw a video and now it got fed. But I think the issue is a lot of the time, people simply, even though they're interested in the content and the channel and everything, they might forget to subscribe. And having the subscriber requirement, I didn't want to put oh, you have to be subscribed for a day or 10 minutes. I did it a minute, right? So that, because this is a very engaging stream, I find that most people who do attend the stream, they have a good time and they chat with the rest of you guys in the chat or talk directly to me. So I was like, maybe this is a strategy so that people who come to the stream have a good time and talk. This will help them get the notifications, being subscribed and all that, to return for subsequent streams and content on the channel. But we'll see how it works out. It could be that people end up complaining oh, why do you have to have subscriber mode only, even though it's just a minute, and I might turn it off. But just testing it out. Always testing things out with the channel, YouTube in general, because YouTube's constantly changing, so you have to adapt and change with it. But let me get through all these real quick. What up, Giant Robots? What up, KL130? Read us the manuals. Yeah, so they were asking NAS stuff. I will talk about that. We can talk about some home lab stuff later on in the stream, but I am making progress on it. I got the drives, as you guys saw most recently, but gathering the rest of the parts, I'm getting those together, and then there's always kind of this hesitation right before I just straight up start recording. Because, when you record content, you want to plan it out so that it's coherent and makes sense and flows well. So I want to kind of put together a somewhat outline of how I want to do the NAS DIY home server, home lab content. So yeah, once I do that though, I can start recording and building and then share with you guys. But what up, teams? Wavy Motorsports, hello Firestorm, Hayden Trent, hello. Sid 98, Elaine Renteria, what up, what up? If I was on the phone with Elon Musk, even though I'm not a fan of the guy, I must be doing something right. If I had a direct phone call with Elon Musk, because he is up there, right? But what up, no half step in? Anyone get their hands on a B580 by chance? I've been hunting for months. I have a B580, but I picked it up back in December, January time frame. I got lucky with mine though. Yeah. Altruistic G. You have a question? Don't mind. I'm giving you advice. For sure, ask it later on in the stream, because right now I'm trying to get through this, and then we'll get into the tech news for a bit. But we should have time this stream to just like kind of do whatever after I get through the main stuff and the tech news. But what up, Verse? Okay, Robert Fix It, Yellow Ant-Man, Scott Maxfield. This is a OnePlus, indeed. This is a OnePlus 12. Got a crazy good deal on it, which is the only reason I upgraded from my OnePlus 8 Pro. Basically found one of those people that's always switching cell phones, and he decided to go back to iPhones. So then I found this on OfferUp. I got it last summer for $485, I believe, and it was like less than a year old at that point. But yeah, it's a great phone. What's that in UK weather? Dude, oh, I guess I could just click this. UK weather and the rest of the world, 13C. What's your opinion on the value of the Intel Arc A750? I've seen dropped in price quite a bit. I think I found them in the used market for like 150 to 175, which for the performance it comes in at is way more reasonable than the prices that AMD and Nvidia cards have gone up to. Because an A750 is like, what is it, a little weaker than a 3060. Let me re-look that up again, because it's going to depending on when the benchmarks were done, which driver set, and what games you're testing. But if you look at the A750's value, right? So it comes in actually a little bit better, I guess, if you are looking like specifically at DX11 or DX12 and all that stuff. But in general, according just to one source, but I trust Tech Power Up, right? It comes in like 10%-ish better than the 6600, and the 3060 12 gig, it's like a few percent better, basically head to head with it. You're not finding Arc A750s for the same, like, for I guess price wise, as much as 3060s go for what I've seen in my area. 3060s are going for still like what, 200 plus. 6600s are a little bit cheaper, like 175. So for better performance for the same price as the 6600, I would say it's a good value if you're okay with Intel Arc. They still, I didn't have a lot of crashing issues specifically, but you're gonna want to look into the performance of the games that you play the most, because again, every, like, Nvidia, AMD, and Intel all have the certain games that they kind of bias, or the games bias towards them performing better. So yeah, I still wouldn't put an Arc card in a build for like a complete beginner though. I would say like have someone who's somewhat comfortable with computers. Let's see. Where are they at? Hey man, my PSU died yesterday, man. I found a new one and I'm picking it up tomorrow after 5 p.m. Yeah, PSU dying kind of sucks. There's always that fear that it might damage other parts, but if you had a good PSU, it shouldn't be a problem. But you don't know until you get that new PSU to put in, and if it still doesn't work, then you're like, wait, was it really the PSU? Unless, you know, your fans didn't spin and it was supposed to spin, though they have zero RPM models now that try to be efficient. So yeah, good luck though with getting your system back up and running. Are you gonna play the new Doom? I don't think on release. Yeah, too many games that I already don't play, and I'm not trying to drop, what was it, $60, or is it no, the new Doom's gonna be like 70, right? Yeah, I'm not trying to drop a full price on a game that I'm not gonna play right away. Doom Dark Ages. We looked at the price last week, but I already forgot. It is... It does look pretty cool though, because it does seem like there's more melee, like, focus. Not focus, but there's more melee incorporated into it this time around with the medieval themed weapons. $70, yeah, ooh, that's pricey. I cannot just keep on buying games solely to benchmark, and I definitely won't have time to play it. So I will probably pick it up on a sale or through Steam Family Game Sharing if any of the people in my Steam family get it. And once they're done playing it, I will play it through there. B770, have I read the right? Yes, there is B770 speculation and news, and I'll pull up the article on that one in a bit. What is that on the glasses? Always wondered, feel weird. No, it's not weird. So I put a mic. This is the microphone. Hello. But this is the microphone. I put it on my glasses because every time I have tried to put it on my shirt or my hoodie, it like flops around or like pushes against my skin or rubs on the shirt. It just like ruins the sound and stuff. Putting it on here, I feel like I have like a scouter on, like, you know, a Saiyan. No, but putting it on here, there's no risk of it rubbing against my face or anything, and it stays the exact same distance away from my mouth for a more consistent sound. But yeah, when I've had it on my hoodie or like on my shirt collar, when I move around, it messes up the sound. So that's all it is. All right, let me skip forward. Mooch, I am a mooch. You know what? The people in my Steam family, I have given free tech advice and free like PC help and troubleshooting, and have literally built like multiple of their systems on stream. So that's got to be, you know, I'm not gonna say it's worth something, but we help each other out. Plus, like, let's say like Black Wukong, right? That's a demanding game that I want to add to the benchmarks. Not just the Wukong Black Wukong benchmark, because that's a boring scene, but actual gameplay benchmarks. I don't want to buy that game just for that. And they've played it, and they're probably not going to touch it forever. So it's kind of like digital software waste that's gonna sit on the shelves collecting dust and stuff like that. I will give that game some usage and time, right? Yes. So I'm not sure if you guys know, this Steam family used to suck. So Steam family, when it, like, in the past, when you shared a library with someone, let's say, you know, you each have your collection of games. If you played a game that was shareable on their library, they couldn't play anything at all. Renting or borrowing a game from their library locked out their whole entire account. So nobody wants to do that, right? Because then you can't play different games at the same time. New Steam family sharing is you just can't play that single game, but they can still use their Steam account to play the like hundreds of other games that they have while you're renting or borrowing that one game from them. They can't play that game because obviously, you know, you can't play the one game on both accounts at the same time. But there's so many games that people play and then they're done with that otherwise goes unplayed. So we tested it out recently. Me and it's my brother and my brothers-in-law. Melissa has 4 brothers, so, and they all have gaming PCs. They all, you know, have Steam accounts and stuff. I got 2 of the brothers to share with me. So my Steam library access, I guess, like probably more than tripled overnight when we started a family together. And I'll probably end up getting some games, or I probably have some games that they don't have that they want to play. So yeah, if you guys have friends and stuff, and you guys aren't a part of a family, if you have close friends that you can trust to not like hop on each other's game and lock each other out, it's a good way to save money and play, you know, old games that other people have that and can save you money. So it's free. It is free on game. Yeah, I'm not a fan of just subscription things in general. Game Pass, honestly, Game Pass is a really good value for the amount of games that you get access to for what, 10, 15 bucks a month. There's different tiers of Game Pass. And there's a bunch of, you could keep making new email accounts and getting free trials. But no, Game Pass is definitely worth it if you are like a person who likes to hop, you know, to every new game that comes out and, you know, play it for however long. And you don't care about, I guess, Steam achievement points. Yeah. Robert Fix It Live says, tech news, Intel Celestial GPU production has entered the pre-validation phase, one step closer to the next Intel GPU generation C series. How far is that going to be out, though, realistically, until the first product? Well, I mean, people are still trying to get that B770, and Intel's teasing it, so, yeah. Y'all getting GTA or being lame? If you meet... of course I will get GTA on PC. I'm not buying a console just to play GTA, just to buy it on PC later on. I will wait. I'm not going to do it again. I did that for Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm not doing that for GTA 6. Hey, it's me, your long lost brother. Yeah, I'm telling you. I wonder if there's like groups on like either Discord groups or subreddits that pair people together and they all mutually agree to help each other out being in a Steam family. The only thing about Steam family is I think you can only join one a year or something along those lines. I would need to check. But yeah, it's like, obviously, they don't want people joining a family just to play the game, then joining another, or leaving that family, joining another family. So they definitely put some pretty big cooldowns on it. So if you join a family, make sure this is the right family you join, right? So you want it to be with people you trust. Me and my girlfriend have a Steam family for that reason. Yeah, it is a great way to save. What's up with new GPUs? Haven't been updated. Hope you're doing well, by the way. Hope you're doing well too, Logan. Good to see you in the stream, as always. GOG is a great way to share offline games with your friends. No DRM. I have not tested the offline feature yet with the Steam family. Because what if I went on and started a game in offline mode and then disconnected my internet, or left it connected but went in offline mode, and then the owner of that game tried to play at the same time. So we did not do that detailed of testing, but I should try that because I'm curious if that works. Because with single player games, playing offline is like no big deal, right? Except for like trying to do cloud saves and all that. But for the most part, you can get by with local saves. What's your favorite looking GPU you've ever had your hands on? That's a good question. That I've ever had my hands on. Let me think back. What was a GPU? List your guys' in the comments because I'm curious. But what GPU that I've held in my hands, I was like, my goodness, this is a work of art. Honestly, I don't think I've ever held super unique GPUs before. Like all the cool ones, I can't even think of a cool one that I've seen and have not held. But in terms of like, I don't know, man. Like the only thing I can think of like when I think of like GPUs, right? The Founders Edition from NVIDIA. I think like this generation of like the 1080 Ti, like the 10 series Founders Edition. Something about this reference design, it is so iconic and so unique to NVIDIA. Like you could look at this and even if there was no NVIDIA logo on it, you would just know. I guess like you can say MSI cards, like twin Frozers and stuff look unique and stuff, but I don't know, like I just love the look of this for some reason. I think part of the reason is because I have had a very few of these come through. Like compared to any other types of GPUs from all the other AIBs, right? Like Founders, limited editions, reference editions, direct from like AMD, NVIDIA, Intel. Definitely my least owned like types of graphics cards over the years. So I don't know. These always hold a special place in my heart. And right now, oh, do I have any of these right now? I had a 1070 and a 1080. I gave away the 1080 through a giveaway on the channel. I might still have the 1070. I forget, but yeah. I think these ones. What up, Shauner? Thank you for the 36 months of channel membership. I appreciate your support, man. Always good to see you in the chat. How you doing? I like the rare green black MSI cards from the 10 series. Oh, yeah. Wait, 10 series? So MSI 10 series green black. I'm thinking of the 9 series green ones, but the MSI black graphics cards. I remember MSI still doing these? I was not aware of this. I'm thinking it's the 9 series because like I think was it the 970 MSI green. But let me see if the other these ones look really cool. Have I ever had one of these? I think I might have had one of these ever. It might have been the 960, but let me see if they had the same thing. Yeah, okay. I think it was the 9 series, but yeah, I agree, Jason. These ones were pretty standout. Oh, also MSI. Okay, MSI had some bangers over the years, especially like these lightning cards. I always thought the lightning cards were very cool as well. With the yellow. These were like their high end, I believe, at the time. I don't remember if MSI had anything higher than lightning graphics cards. But this one, the black and yellow Bumblebee. I always thought these were. I've never owned a black and yellow MSI lightning card. I think people usually just charge too much, even in the used market, for them. So I always just admired them from afar. I painted a 980 pink and teal. It looks sick. Yo, post pictures, Shauner. I wanna see and pull that up. If you have pictures, I'm sure you took pictures of it. If it looks super sick. That's hard. Yeah, there are a lot of bland CPUs or GPUs, but over the years, companies have definitely had some really good looking ones. I thought the Radeon 7 reference card with the yes, those look cool too. So Radeon, let's see, reference. I think the what's it called, blue and yellow one. This one, the Vega cards with that little clear yellow, little block on it. Yeah, this one. They also made these in, what was it, black and red, where this was black and the yellow part was red. These definitely look super clean and unique as well. I've never held or owned like even the non-limited special edition of it. Like, was this the anniversary edition? I forgot which one this one specifically was. But I've never even held the version that was like gray or black and red. But yeah. Logan's a super simple person. As long as it works, who cares about aesthetics? He's happy. Yeah, I totally get that. I did a build. Oh! Build refresh. Yeah, what card was that? Man, you have a good memory. I think I remember that as well now. I don't remember what build it was, but now that you mentioned the build refresh, That must have been at least like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't remember where I got the green card from. I would have to go back. After so many years of making videos and content and like part pickup videos and build videos, it's really hard to remember. But yes, that vaguely sounds familiar. Titan XP Star Wars. Yeah, those ones were pretty sick looking too. Just they added a little bit of the aesthetic to make it look like, you know, like spaceship windows almost. Yeah. Also, the issue about cards like this is that even though they're getting like they're old and they're gonna continue to get old, but their prices still remain high due to simply being kind of like limited edition collectors. So for their performance, they are way more expensive than they're usually worth. But like if I could find one for what they should be worth based on their performance output, I would pick one up. But I'm not trying to pay extra to be a collector right now. Like, yeah. All right, let's talk. We are somehow 30 minutes in. My God, you guys have derailed me. No. Okay, let's talk about some of the tech news that is coming out as recent as today at well, 3:16 GMT. But 9060, that's expected to be announced at Computex, which starts in what is the official day? So it starts on Monday the 19th, so a little bit under a week. I think this is with, I don't know when AMD is planning on actually talking about it. But the launch is supposed to be next Wednesday. I doubt AMD is gonna wait to announce or like do, you know, the on stage presentation of it till Wednesday. If anything, you want to not be caught in the kind of like the scurry of the tech news. So in terms of the details of it themselves, I don't know if there's any like concrete specs on it. Oh, let me see this. Allow X. Okay. Wait. Oh no, AMD join as we reveal the next. Oh, they are gonna reveal it on the 21st. Interesting, huh? No, I'm not going to Computex. Computex is on the other side of the world, and I want to go to Computex, but I've been saying like I want to go next year. I want to go next year. This year definitely was like this year it was the furthest out of reach, the furthest out of the cards for me even making it to Computex. Like with what's going on outside of like the channel and in real life and stuff like that. Yeah, Computex was for sure a no-go. The most like restrictions I've had. So yeah. I guess let's run a poll. We need to do more polls, man. We used to be a stream about polls and then we got away from it. Let's bring that back. Also, I feel like these bright, vibrant hoodies in the background are distracting. Now they're back there, but they're more out of the way. Okay. Assuming price and availability is good, are you planning to pick up an RX? Yes, on 9060 XT / RTX 5060. So yes, no, market for a card. Okay, let's start this poll. Yeah, like how many people are excited about these more entry-level mid-range cards that are apparently, you know, supposed to be more affordable? when the new card comes out would be a good time for a road trip to Micro Center. I feel like companies are always saying, especially with each of the lower end cards coming out, supply isn't going to be an issue. I have to wonder if like if I had to bet on this, are people going to be able to get these cards day one? Probably not day one, but like let's say post first or second week pretty easily. If MSRP doesn't matter and these come in at around 300, maybe a little less, but then the excuses of tariffs and all that stuff gets the price up higher, my bet is gonna be these aren't gonna be readily available for within 10% of the supposed MSRP. I think these are gonna be on shelves, similar to how we're like, let's look at what's available right now. Let's see, RX 9070. Let's look at the non-XTs, just to look at an example, right? And I want to see sold by Newegg, not third-party scalpers, but like you can get a 9070 XT direct from Newegg, sold and shipped by Newegg, right? It's not a problem, but it's $900. So this is 50% more. Oh, you say $50 though, but this is 50% over MSRP. So it's not hard to have products sit on the shelves or the e-shelves and available, ready to buy, if the prices are stupid, because there's not going to be a demand for it. So the supply demand kind of gets out of whack, and you build up supply and with low demand. But with the 9060, I feel like we're going to see a similar situation. They're going to come in like, I don't know, 30-40% above MSRP. Day one, they're going to like do something with limited supply, try to, get some gamers so that they said, hey, we did have some cards at MSRP. It's going to be very limited amount. There's going to be like so many more people who want the card at MSRP that aren't going to be able to get it. And then in the following restocks, the price is probably going to creep up. This is my prediction, right? We've already seen it happen multiple times. Why is it not going to happen again this time? And then you're going to land somewhere north of like 30 to probably, up to 50%. See, 50%, let's say on a $300 card, 50% makes it a $450 card. And that seems easier to stomach or easier to swallow than a $600 card being $900. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's gonna be launched. Is it gonna be launched and available to buy same day, or are they gonna do the same thing where they announce on Wednesday, available on the following Thursday? Oh yeah, by the way, AMD, they did show a reference design for this, but they're just like the other cards. There's no reference model. They're just showing this for the render, but you're not gonna be able to buy a card that looks like this. You're only gonna be able to buy the AIB ones, unfortunately, because I like the look of these. I would have been excited, but just decided to go secondhand. Secondhand, it makes sense, right? The secondhand market exists solely to save money. It wouldn't make sense. The secondhand market, people wouldn't be able to move secondhand products if a competing, equally performing part was in the new market at the same price. So the secondhand market, except for when there's a global pandemic, well, no, even the pandemic, used should have been cheaper because there was no availability brand new. But if you want performance, always for like the best bang for buck, most performance for dollar, you gotta go used. Just like a car is always gonna be cheaper, but you just have to consider, no warranty. If anything happens, if it's an older card that's a few years old, could be out of warranty. It's that risk you take, right? There's got to be some risk to the reward of getting something for a lower price. Need a fourth choice? I would consider buying an AMD GPU. So more than half the people voted not in the market for a card, But so there's just based on the vote so far, not a ton of people are trying to get these 60 level cards. It seems like Micro Centers had a bit of everything available recently. Yeah, I do follow the Micro Center subreddit, and I followed it because of the launches have been kind of a disaster. But oh my god, I also follow the Domino's subreddit. Look at this pizza. What is this? Ew. But Micro Center. This is an interesting. If you guys have a Micro Center near you, definitely join the Micro Center subreddit because they do post like availability of stuff like every single day all throughout. A motorcyclist takes home a 50-90 duct taped to his back. I would have just brought a backpack or a gym bag big enough for the card. Hopefully he doesn't get into an accident and falls that side down. But yeah, the reason for cards being still available is because not many people are looking to buy these graphics cards at, you know, 3,000. Oh yeah, 3,000 plus tax, even for 5090. Wasn't it crazy? Remember when the 5090s first launched and we looked at the next day the eBay listings, and there were sold listings for cards in the like $4,000 or $5,000 range. And I think the max one I saw like day or two after launch of the 5090s. And remember, this was only what, 4-ish months ago. Cards like up to $5,000 to $6,000, and now they're readily available in stock for nearly half of that. But it's just because all the people who had to have it and were willing to pay extra got their cards. And now the rest of the people are like, I don't need a 5090. If it was the right price, I'll upgrade. But if it's still 1,000 over what it was expected, nah, it could just sit on the shelves and rot. So people somewhat held the line there, right? I don't know if I would buy a new card. The thrill goes to the secondhand market is too interesting for me. I guess you could say I like gambling. I don't know. Do I have a thrill of gambling in the used market, potentially getting a dead card? Well, for me, I have a different specific use case, right? I'm a content creator, so picking up used deals and just like having cool conversations with random people, like that's actually my thrill of picking up used hardware, talking to random strangers that are in the same hobby as me. But secondary to that, the thrill is to save money. I don't know if I like the kind of like uncomfortable feeling of potentially buying a dead or, you know, about to die card. we are not the same. In the process of building twins for a buddy and his son, they chose 5060 Ti's, 16 gigabytes for $490. Not too shabby, I feel like. I can't knock it. They're coming. Yeah, dude. 5060 Ti, 16 gigabyte models for $490. We saw the performance level of them. You cannot list me an AMD card that goes easily found for $500 or less. That is this like same performance level or better. We saw what they were. They're the 7700 XTs, which are now like $500+, and they are worse at ray tracing, and they have less VRAM. So yeah, no, that's not a bad price at all. It's just anyone who gives you crap for buying a 5060 Ti for 16 gigabytes are just being NVIDIA haters. If you look at it objectively, it's not a bad buy. You have to adjust to the market. I hate it when people said, you should have got something 6 months ago that was cheaper from AMD. Like, that's not how the world works. We don't have time machines yet. Hello, what up, Chris? Let me see. Danny, if you had 6K budget for a new gaming PC, would you just stat and aesthetic max? That's a good question. Dude, you know how Linus Tech Tips has it used to be the Intel Extreme Challenge, and then I'm very curious why they went over to being AMD Extreme Challenge now, where they upgrade their employees like setup or computers. Now, man, more recently they've been doing non-computer related and setup upgrades, and they're doing like car upgrades and motorcycle upgrades, but it's just tech challenge, right? Where they throw like X amount of dollars at it, and I'm just like, I'm pretty close. I'm within driving distance to LMG. Like, if they ever wanted to branch out and do like random smaller tech content creator channel upgrades, I would totally volunteer. So in an imaginary world where I could get a $6,000 build or setup upgrade for free, what would my build look like? I mean, I could get a build that would make me happy. Would be like easy. Like, I could get a build that was $2,000 to $2,500 and be super happy with it. My build currently, if you look at the specs in my build, aside from those ridiculous SSDs, like the 8TB SSD probably is worth like 500. I think they go for like 5 something. And then the 4TB goes for like 2 something. I have like $700 worth of SSDs in my system. But aside from that, like CPUs, a 12700K, those have gone on sale for like, I think 200-ish bucks as like lately. And then the graphics card I have is a $250 graphics card. It's a B580. I like RAM is cheap, the case, everything. My build, even with those expensive SSDs in there, is probably, I don't know, 1,500 because of those SSDs. Take out those SSDs and my build is probably closer to like 12. Nah, let me like 1,000 to 1,200. It's kind of hard to say because I'm using a 12th gen CPU, which is now, you know, 3 gens old. Yeah. Techie Tech says they switched because Intel stopped. Is that why? Okay. I wasn't sure if it's because Intel stopped or because they wanted to stop due to all the hate that Intel was getting for their debacle with the, you know, the bad BIOS and CPUs dying early, prematurely, stuff like that. So, but yeah, Dream PC, I wouldn't need $6,000. I would put more towards the rest of my setup if I could answer that question like that, right? I would probably hop up to high refresh rate, you know, OLED ultra wide, because PC specs only last so long. I have used monitors for, like, the one I'm on right now, I think I'm going on like 4 years right now, 4 or 5. And then the one on top of it, I'm going on even longer than that. So like, I would definitely get a nice monitor and sit happy with that. What is the next step in monitor technology versus the best as right now? How much of a difference is it going to be with regards to, you know, what the human eyes can perceive? And is it going to just be incremental and kind of like a diminishing return type of thing, right? Past OLEDs. So I would probably spend a decent chunk of it on getting like nicer monitor, speakers, peripherals, because things like mouse and keyboard and stuff, they can last, if you're lucky and they don't die early, they can last longer than PC specs last, because PC specs they don't get obsolete within 5 years if you get high end, but they start to feel older, and they're not as timeless. Let's just say that. Oh, okay. Yep. So multiple people are confirming that that Intel just didn't want to put money towards it anymore. And I mean, maybe they were losing so much money because they had to RMA so many CPUs and their stock was tanking and people were jumping ship for AMD. So yeah, that makes sense. AMD stepped up, and what a good time to step up. This is a good point, Jason. Linus only makes computers for other millionaire creators like Hassan, PewDiePie, Dream, etc. So good luck. Wait, that's perfect for you then. Hell yeah. Yes, I will tell Linus I am a millionaire And then hopefully he will make something for me. Yeah. They spend the most of the money on silly stuff, yeah. Which it brings, because you think about it, if every challenge video, we'll call it, because whether you're looking at each Intel or AMD, if all those videos was just people like, I want the best CPU, I want the best GPU, I want the most storage, it would get boring. I think the point of the videos is to kind of almost highlight the employee that they're doing the upgrade for, and highlighting their interests, and not only showing them as a unique individual, but also going into their hobbies and just exploring other things that's not just high-end gaming PC specs or even editing PC specs, because those all, after a while, you see so many like high-end builds and high-end stuff over and over and over. I'm not sure about you guys, but like I lose interest in that stuff. I could only watch content creators build high-end 9800 X3D, 5090, 5080 PC builds so many times until I'm just over it. It's not even because like it's a jealous thing. It's not like, oh, I can't buy one of those, or like there's not available. It's just not interesting. David is literally in Vancouver. We need to get that collab. Dude, yeah, like maybe they could do David first, and then they're like, all right, what other creators are within the kind of northwestish region? So we'll see. People whining about the $800 cards on their first world countries and how they cannot ray trace 8K, and people in third world countries work their ass off to buy an RX 580. Yeah, you're right, Nemus. I always appreciate old hardware, and like every time, that's why I love also revisiting older hardware. You need to remind people that like you can still play games on older hardware, on cheaper hardware. Like, don't get wrapped up, especially if you're new to the space or if you're younger. Do not get wrapped up in the idea that you need a multi-$1,000 system at all. Bro, if you are in high school or younger, you should be happy with like a $400 or less PC. I'm saying it now. Don't get that entitled mindset. The WTake, I'd upgrade monitors first two. Probably get a nice chair. Yeah, chairs. A chair, it's interesting. A chair is like one of those things. I'm so cheap about it too. Even though I know chairs, if you take care of them, you don't mess them up, and you buy one that's like good quality, that doesn't have like cheap mesh or cheap cushions that will indent quickly and stuff, they can last you a long time. For me, they last a really extra long time because I'm like lightweight, so I don't stress the material as much. So like even if I had to buy a $1,000 chair, which I won't because I'm cheap, but it would be a good investment for me, because over the years it would just like work out to be so cheap per year of usage. But for something, if you're getting it as like a gift, like for your birthday or Christmas, or like if you win it from a giveaway, or like if someone just throws money at you for a video, yeah, I would say I would want to spend that money on things that I would not want to upgrade for myself, because I could buy my own PC parts just fine. I don't think that hard about it. Like if I feel like I need a new CPU, I'll get it if I'm at that point. But something like a chair, it's a lot easier to get when it's not coming out of your own pocket, I guess. Yeah, that could be like the homie Danny Kogeham. Yeah. I need to just like slowly put that into Twitter and stuff, and maybe they'll start that series. Linus has went insane. They do reviews of $3,000 laptops at 98% never. Okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna fact check this. Linus Tech Tips. I'm gonna go look at Linus's channel, and we're gonna look at their most recent videos. And cause to be honest, Linus is definitely like one of the pillars of the PC building community. No matter how you want to look at it, they're very much like a gateway for new people, more digestible, like to get into the PC tech space, right? Whether you have beef with them and like are like, oh, Linus sucks, Gamers Nexus rules, or Hardware Unboxed rules, whatever. Like each of these channels have their place and purpose in the community, and Linus just happens to be one of the he's the biggest one, right? For PC hardware. But we look at their videos. You said I'm gonna look at your claim. He has gone insane. They do reviews of $3,000 laptops. Given the fact that they release so many videos, let's take a look at their last, let's say 10 or 20 videos. Linus, okay, so this is for members only. They debate favorite My Little Pony. Okay, so this is a fun video that people would probably enjoy. But two support technicians gave up Secret Shopper. Okay, so this is useful for everybody when it comes to like consumer rights and, you know, customer service. I built the fastest PC. Okay, so fastest gaming PC. This goes along with reviewing ultra stuff that people can't afford. Oh, that's the members only one. And they released 2 versions. Oh, because wait, what? Oh, this is the extras. Okay, yeah. I could build that for way less than $5,000, man. So they're talking about arcade cabinets. This is very niche. D-brand pay. I saw this post, just a sponsored thing. Everyone is cooling their PC. They're doing like AC. This is like a fun experiment stuff, which you could probably replicate with a cheaper AC unit. DIY house battery, for like home, you know, like, for I guess power outages and stuff. $5,000 tech upgrade, so this is not affordable. Ran every antivirus at once. I mean, I would say they do have a good mix. Battle Mage update, so this is like, you know, people who are in the business of using their PCs to make money, giving their thoughts on budget hardware. Secret Shopper, again, I would see. They release so many videos that is a mix of so many random, like not even really PC related to crazy wacky video PC related, some budget oriented stuff, some high end. You painted this picture as if he's gone off the deep end or is ridiculous and is out of touch. And I just quickly checked, and he brought in this kid who built his own laptop, which I mean, they talk about like how much it cost him in R&D and stuff, but this is just showcasing a community member. I feel like with how much content they release throughout the week, you're at least getting like 1 video a week that's, if not more, that's not super high-end, unreachable stuff. That's at least interesting enough to watch. I don't know why. It's more like I'm trying to correct the pendulum shift of this narrative that Linus is just, you know, not relatable anymore or whatever. I never got that feeling. Maybe you could call me, you know, because I'm a content creator, I have over 100,000 subs, whatever the heck. But I think everything I just said, and I pulled up the receipts, I don't think I said anything that was incorrect or tried to paint a picture of Linus that wasn't true, right? If his last 10 videos, 8 of them were like $5,000 ridiculous crap, I would have called him out for it. But it just depends on how you look at it. Like, yeah, the fire truck one, not everybody has a fire truck, but it's also just an interesting watch. He's not telling you to go buy a fire truck to water cool your PC because that'll cost you tens of thousands of dollars. It's just different content. I don't know. Like, he's in a unique position where he can bring these types of videos, like bringing on people who are doing, like, this kid was like in high school or college, right? That built his own laptop. To have a fire truck, now to use it for something as ridiculous as cooling a PC. Other content creators can't even do that. They're not even in the realm of having enough budget to do that. So I don't know. I don't think he's putting out that type of content that you painted him out to. So yeah. And then Jason says N2 Tech, not to defend them, but not everyone. And this is a good point too. Yeah, not everyone's content is gonna be for everyone. They can only make so many people happy, right? Even my content. A lot of people have left comments and have, you know, criticized me for certain things over the years. And it's just like, if my content's not for you, then so be it. But I try to make what I'm interested in and what I feel like the most people are watching. And if my like to dislike ratio that I can personally see, like the actual ratio, even though it's hidden on YouTube, is anything to go by, people are liking what I do. LTT and Jay's 2 cents are the reason I got back into tech in 2017. Now I work for a software company. I feel like, I mean, not to bring up the drama again from, God, that was 2023. Where has the time gone? We're coming up on 2 years since the drama. But like, if we looked at the net, like if we wanted to look at it black and white, right? And we had a scale out and we weighed the different pros and cons of Linus, LTT and LMG existing in general, I would say they're doing more net good than they are net bad for whatever people hate them for. I believe they are, in general, if we're looking at like net zero, whether they're on the positive or negative side of things, I think they are the positive side for the PC building community. They have plenty of things that they could improve on. They have definitely have done things like horribly in the past, or have like not made the best call on things, but overall I don't really see like malice in it, and if anything, they have been receptive to their criticisms. But that's kind of getting off topic, sorry. And a lot of us are the techie people for our families and friends. Some of us, stuff we can't afford, we watch, stay on top of, knowing what to recommend or even save up for, maybe, lol. Yes, definitely. I feel like, all right, new poll. Start poll. Are you the tech guy for your friends and family? The tech guy or gal? Are you the tech person? Why aren't I signed into YouTube? I'm in incognito mode right now, so that you guys can't see what my viewing history is. Ha 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 ha. Because you know what I'd be looking at. You see my homework folder, even though that's not on YouTube. Actually, YouTube has some ridiculous stuff on it that you would not believe is actually on YouTube. Like straight up full on nudity yoga. I don't know how that passes on YouTube. I don't know how I initially came across it, but YouTube is kind of ridiculous. Linus only reviews ultra expensive pool cleaners nobody can afford. It's not just about being relatable. Linus will only respond to chat if it's a super... Dude, Linus doesn't respond to super chats. What are you talking about? I've seen the... They only respond to when you buy merch. Our big boy D has a smaller community, so we can all engage with each other. It might so much better. I wouldn't say my community is so much better because of that. I mean, that is one of the things about growth, right? You're right, Jake Dog. Or you like J Dog more? No. Definitely, that's just what comes with the territory. Have you seen what chat looks like when you are a channel in like the sub thousands to like in the tens of thousands to the hundred thousands to the millions, right? Compare they call them, what is it? The average Andy, whatever the heck the Twitch slang is that the kids use. But like the average Twitch streamer, or the median one, probably has like single digits. The top 1% doesn't represent anyone, right? So just imagine the viewing experience watching someone with less than 10 viewers on stream versus watching, I don't know, who's the top streamers now? iShowSpeed or oh yeah, Kai Cenat. I'm trying to think. I don't watch Twitch. Asmongold. Yeah, any of those guys. Have you seen the chat there's no way you can keep up with the chat. And LMG is definitely towards that side of the spectrum. I don't remember how slow of a mode they have because I typically don't chat in their live streams, but there's no way they can answer, and they don't even answer super chats. That's how busy the chat is. So they get so many super chats that even that is too much to answer and stay on topic. I like to talk to you guys and go off topic, and I don't know if you guys are cool with that or if you're like, shut the F up, Danny, get back on topic, which now I'm reminded we are off topic. We were supposed to talk about the teasers from Computex. This is news today. Intel says stay tuned to those asking for ARC B770. Every week it's so flip-flop about what is gonna happen with if there's gonna be higher end ARC cards. For the last like 2 months, it's like, oh, there's rumors. Oh, nope, Intel shut them down. Oh, there's rumors. Okay. If I had to put money on it, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna run a poll on this. Okay, the last poll though, if you guys didn't vote yet, please vote, because right now the poll, it says 90% of the votes, you guys are the tech people in your family and friend circle. When something goes awry, or like they have any tech questions, if they need a PC built, they contact you. So it kind of makes sense. I mean, just for you to watch PC content on YouTube and to even attend this stream, I think it says a lot about a person with regards to their interest in tech and things like that. So I am not surprised that, oh, why is that being cut off? Give me a second. Where is it? Live chat. There. Oh, it is cut off. Let me see if I can fix that. No, that's not it. There it is. Okay, here we go. That's more like it. So we can see it actually on the stream. Okay. But yeah, oh, it's not showing the results. It's showing me the results. I'm gonna end the poll in a couple minutes though. One of the reasons I love your streams, you actually take the time to read and answer chat. I try. Have you guys seen in the stream when people complain that I didn't read their comments? Like, I tried to get to your guys' comment as much as possible, but even, like, sometimes the stream goes too fast, I can't. But I promise you guys, I try. I saw that you bought 20 terabytes of hard drives. Are you happy with that, bro? I ended up going back and picking up 2 more drives. So it was a total of 7 drives for, what is that? 7 times 12, 84. No. Am I bad at math right now? 7 times 12 is 84. Yeah, it's 84 terabytes, but after 2 parity drives, that's going to be minus 24. Wait. Yeah, 224. So it's going to be 60 usable, I think. I don't know if I want to keep drives on backup because I don't want to get to a point where one drive does go bad and then I don't have a spare to slot into it. So I'm thinking I might not fully load it up and keep some on backup to be able to slot in case something does happen. Because I'm not going to use up all the space right away. So I don't need to have my, you know, my pool to be like the whole 60. So we'll see. That's exactly what I was talking about in decline. YouTube is wild. OnlyFans models can post educational videos such as breastfeeding. Don't ask me how I know that either. I don't know how that came across my feed. But it did. And naked yoga. I do not watch that stuff. And like, if you accidentally click on it, it's not in my feed. But the fact that it even was recommended to me is kind of wild. That seems like that should be for sure demonetized content. But yeah, all right, I'm going to end the poll. Over 93% of the votes says they are the tech person in the family. Okay. I'm not getting the 8-bay U green. I wanted to hide it, but you know what? I'll show you guys the case. I will show you guys the case because You guys are here. Plus, the stuff that we talk about on stream doesn't even make it that far outside of stream. I'm not gonna give any details, but I got the case for my first DIY home server. It's not even really gonna be a whole server. It's gonna be a NAS to start off as. Like, I'm just gonna use it for mass storage. I'm not gonna be running like game servers and stuff on it. But so I got the case, and I have, you might be able to see in the background there what looks to be like some other parts. So yeah, no, I think I've locked. Oh, I was actually gonna ask you guys. I need to write it down so that I can remember to ask. Where's the pen? Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys hardware wise, because I know there's way more people for knowledge about PC, the hardware that goes into the server. I've done research, but I'm just curious to hear you guys' thoughts, and we will talk about that in a second. All right, let me first start a poll. Do you think Intel's tease is for a B770 announcement at Computex? And we will revisit this next week and see what it ends up actually being. But okay, the news story is Arc B770 coming. Intel says stay tuned. So yes, so a lot of people on Twitter has been hitting up Intel being like, please bring us B770, please bring us. They have responded and said, stay tuned, eyeballs. Stay tuned, eyeballs, clap. Stay tuned, eyeballs, a salute, right? So, hype, appreciate the love, big things loading. See, this is one of those times where something in my gut, I just feel like there is no, like, I guess, downside for them building up this hype, because they aren't saying anything that is revealing. People are putting it into their own heads and are like putting words into Intel's mouth, thinking this is a B770. I think with all the rumors and like the rumor shutdowns that has happened in the like last few months, I don't think this is gonna be a B770 announcement. This is my guess. I have been wrong on many of things, but this is Intel using a community created narrative or like rumor mill. Like Intel, when it comes next week, Computex, and then they finally don't announce the B770, if people get mad, Intel can go back and say, hey, we never said we were going to announce that. You guys did. We told you to stay tuned because we have things in the work. It wasn't B770. You guys put that expectation. We never lied about anything. We never made any falsified statements. So I'm thinking this is just a pipe dream. Users are getting way too overhyped about this news. Intel is just running with it because they know that they can go back and shift the blame back to the, the community for putting words in their mouth. But that's just me. I'm curious to what you guys are voting. Wow, 83% votes yes. Interesting. Big things loading is a flex. Did Unk just use a pen? Haven't seen one of those in 10 years. Is this even a... Where did I put that? Oh, I put it back. Is this a gel pen even? This is a... Oh, it's a Kingston pen. It's not a gel pen. Off the bat, just look at this. Would this look like... This is kind... Are gel pens a thing? If Unk is writing with a pen, do kids not use... I mean, people... In school, this is the ADHD talking. In school, what did you guys prefer to write with? I know people who wrote in pen because once it dries, it doesn't smear like pencil graphite does. I couldn't ever do pen though because I erased too much. But doesn't this look like a gel pen that, the kids in like elementary, middle school, I guess even up to high school, they got all the different colors and then they drew on their own skin and wrote in their notebooks and stuff. But no, This is merch. Kingston, I guess you get a free shout out because I got a free pen from you guys that I got somewhere. But sorry, so off topic. But yeah, so I don't think this is B770, but a lot of you guys have voted. The guys or the people who have voted, it's 4-1 for every 4 of you. For every 5 of you, 4 of you think it's gonna be a B770 announcement, and 1 doesn't. So prices will crash midsummer into January of everything. Or are you talking about graphics cards, Mike? Good to see you, Mike. How you doing? It's that Intel is buying AMD. I don't know if that's how that works. Oh, CPU prices crash. Intel BD price crashes. Aero costs 48 and the 14th costs 42. So you need a cost-effective run and featured board to play every unit lower price game. I thought the higher end motherboards for like the Ultra series were expensive. I took a look the other day. There are some more budget friendly was it LGA 1851 or whatever the pin count is. This is how much I need to follow the Ultra series a little bit more. It's just nobody cares about them, and the CPU prices themselves are still kind of expensive for what they are. It's marketing. Take advantage of your community. Exactly. Oh yeah, wasn't there a dual B580 rumor or something recently, or are you talking about a while ago? This might be another wait for Vega moment. Intel been around a long time. They know what they're doing. B770 is gonna just be teased, not fully announced. We'll see. I think they're gonna release. Yeah, if anything, I think it might be that 24 gigabyte B580 rumor that we've been hearing about, which is, I think, gonna be a huge letdown because there's only, I think it's a niche product for the performance level that the B580 provides, just like in raw, like core count, just throwing VRAM at it. Well, if everything else stays the same, it's not exciting to gamers, at least. It'll probably be exciting to people in other, like more industry applications and stuff like that. But for gamers, bro, I do not care about a 24 gigabyte B580. The card is pretty weak. 12 gigs is fine. We use Chromebooks, Unc. Oh, you're right. I forget well, I don't know if every school district has Chromebooks and stuff for their kids now, but I was surprised to learn like that it goes down like even to the middle school level. Students use Sharpies to write all over their Chromebooks is what I've seen. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. Like, how undisciplined of a child. Okay. See, now I'm getting into other. So now the votes have skewed a little bit. It's 70-30 split. I'm not going to run a poll on this one, but remember when we got textbooks that we borrowed from school, like back in middle school and high school? Is that still a thing? Kids in middle school and high school now, can y'all chime in like within the last year or two? If, you know, I don't know how many young viewers are out there, but like, do you guys still have big, heavy textbooks to lug around, or is everything on Chromebooks and ebooks now? I literally have not stepped foot into like a high school or middle school in years. But remember you would like get books that you borrowed and then you put like the book covers on it or wrapped grocery bags around it, and then eventually at the end of the year you gave it back. But then or like library books, like people who would write in pen or permanent marker in books. It's just like, I feel like for something that is communal property that you return and other people are going to use, that is like one of the most undisciplined things that you can do. And I get it, kids are dumb, kids, you know, whatever, they can make mistakes, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to judge anybody because like you might be that person right now who is writing in textbooks and like public library books and stuff in permanent marker and pen, or you might have been that kid in the past. But like, I don't know, it takes some level of like upbringing in the home to make your kid know right from wrong in like destruction of things like that in public property, I guess, for no reason, right? I don't want to bring the conversation to destruction of public property for like, you know, political reasons or whatever. I'm talking about like doing it to a book. I don't know. Some classes require physical textbooks as laptops aren't always allowed to be used. Okay, man, I remember when, yes, books, are they, I think they're still part of the college tuition, right? Yeah, going to college and having to buy the newest version of textbooks because you had to do homework from them and they changed the homework questions from revision to revision, so you couldn't buy used ones. That was a huge pain. But, and college is just more expensive in general nowadays, and textbooks probably because they went up with inflation. Yeah, so glad I'm not in college anymore. Sorry if anybody out there is. I feel for you. I felt lucky if my textbook was new. On my time, I had to take notes by hand to help me memorizing things like in history science. Nowadays, it's copy and pasting a PC. Yeah. Books were never a part of the cost here in Australia. You always had to buy books separate for college. But I'm saying in grade school, 12 to, or K through 12, we never had to buy books from K through 12 at least. I repaired Chromebooks in high school as a class. That's a cool class. Kind of like intro to computer repair or something like that. Students writing on Chromebooks with Sharpies? Oh, hell no, not in my classroom. They don't own those devices, just borrowing them. Yeah. Dude, I don't know. I don't know if it's a funny thing or just like... It's all coming down, Danny. All PC kits. Everything is coming down, okay? I'm holding you to your word, Mike. I still need to go back to the beginning of the year or end of last year's streams and see what the prediction was at that time. I think you were talking about summer price drops, so we are still a little bit out from summer, but summer is just a couple months away, so we're gonna see if these things come to fruition. But I remember erasable pens. Those things kind of sucked. They didn't look as good as pens. Like when you wrote with them, it didn't look as nice and filled and like dark, and they were erasable, but when you erased them, they also didn't fully erase away. Erasable pens were an interesting thing. This brings back a lot of core memories, and I don't even know I want to watch how it's made or an explanation of what erasable pens are. There's probably like a Veritasium or some type of video on that. The examples of what students do to Chromebooks. All right, Chris coming in with the receipts in the stream submissions. This is all pictures that you took, Chris. This is what students do to Chromebooks. Gonna make you mad. And this is Chris's own taken pictures. He has seen these and repaired them in front of his own face. This is like quality material for PC tech gore or tech support gore. Or I'm sure there's a subreddit specifically for like oh my god. I feel like 1 in 100 of these, there might be a reasonable explanation, like they were riding their bike and then they fell and the bag ripped and then the Chromebook went out with it or something. But yeah, how do you even explain some of these damages? Can confirm it's amazing what a high schooler can do to a Chromebook. Yeah. And I don't know. I guess with history books, the worst that can happen is they write in it or just like tear it up and rip it up. But my goodness. No punishment for minutes? Oh yeah, that's a good question. I guess, I don't know if Chris would know the answer to it because he's not the teacher in the classroom. But maybe, do you hear down the grapevine, like, what happens? Or if any of you guys are teachers, it sounds like we have some teachers in the chat. What happens when a kid destroys school property like this? You would imagine, like, I don't know. I grew up in a low income area, so like behavioral problems was just a huge thing because, you know, if you grow up in low income, that means parents are either working 1, if not 2 jobs, extra hours, not home to have like that relationship with their kid, and they act up more. And, you know, it's just the lack of discipline is very apparent when you don't have like the parental figures in your life to keep you like on track and stuff, right? But if you're low income, you're also not going to be able to afford to pay the school to replace stuff like this. So I'm just very curious. Like, I mean, I know schools get funding, but if you've been paying attention to the news, cuts to school funding is a very real thing. So like, what happens in this case? There's just not enough to go around, or like you have to work extra hard to repair it. Punishment took years to get implemented. Most of the time, they just got a replacement. Eventually, they had parents sign documents that made them liable after 2 replacements. So you can still freely, after 2 replacements, you can still mess up one, get a replacement, and still be fine. It's only after the second one you have to pay. My goodness. All right, then it's not the end of the world. Y'all made it sound like it was just unresolved vandalism, huh? Just dumb kids. I saw a video of some kid taking a sander to a Chromebook for a TikTok. Bro, one of the channels that went to LTX, actually, Something Rock. It's an Asian kid who like just destroys every new electronic that comes out. That's like the whole shtick of it. There's a whole thing on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube short form, or even YouTube long form videos of, there's Jerry Rig Everything, who like does somewhat scientific scratch tests and like bend tests of phones and electronics to like show people how durable things are. And then there's people who like will it blend, stick iPhones in blenders, and you know, I guess that someone had to do it for science. But yeah, the clout chase can get ridiculous when there's lots of channels destroying and literally creating e-waste on perfectly functioning brand new stuff. The parents get 100% get billed. It was part of the class. Interesting. Okay. So depending on obviously like what state it's in, what school district. Yeah. Kids don't realize costs. My daughter got way better at taking care of stuff when she started paying for it herself and working part-time. That is a good point. Yeah. If the parents made the kids pay for it out of their allowance or gave them a good whooping, they would probably learn the lesson pretty fast. Kids' parents are sent a repair. Yeah. So, okay. That sounds reasonable. I would, oh man, Chris with the, he's got a system down. I would set aside older repaired units for problem students and keep new ones for students that never had issues. Maybe I need to get back into smashing stuff again, as your channel's name is the Smash TV Network. My district piloted iPads before we adopted Chromebooks. Now that was stupid expensive. Yeah, Chromebooks are kind of dirt cheap. I don't know. Especially, do schools get Chromebooks from like, actually, I don't know what in terms of like the average life cycle of a Chromebook and where it is mostly sold, but are most Chromebooks made for educational purposes? Are there any repurposed Chromebooks that are, what other like sector would you get Chromebooks from? Like, you know, like with businesses and some schools, like OEM office towers that can get recycled and brought into schools and stuff. But with Chromebooks, are the majority of Chromebooks life cycle, like the beginning of the life, were they made only for schools? I think that might be the answer, but I don't know for sure. They have high price ones that cost $800. I don't follow Chromebooks, to be honest. I've just never been interested in them, which now I want to ask the question and talk more about server stuff, because I did have some server stuff, but because people are, you know, they can run start little cheap servers off of Chromebooks and all of that. But I'll ask that in a second. I bet schools have discounts on buying Chromebooks in bulk. I have some Chromebooks that are school locked, kind of like Red Robin locked iPads, or you know, just locked. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Chris out here profiling children. Is it profiling if I mean, it's profiling, but is there anything inherently wrong with profiling if there is receipts and evidence to back it up? Because normally you think of profiling, you think of it in like in a negative way, where people are profiling based solely on race and not the individual. But if Chris has the actual data on an individual and he's using it to profile them, I don't see an issue with that, actually. Yeah, if it's, as long as he's not profiling based on their skin color or their income or anything like that, and it's on an individual basis, yeah, I don't see a problem. Using receipts and data can unfortunately also be used for profiling races and minorities. You're right, you can. That's if you like take the data points for like a certain, you know, ethnicity or whatever group of people and then apply it to people a part of that group, but otherwise have done nothing wrong. But in Chris's instance, he's not doing that. He's looking at this individual messed up. So this individual is now going to get a, what's it called? An older Chromebook. Now I'm trying to see, is there any way to spin that negatively? Like, oh, they deserve a second chance. You could say that. You could say kids who messed up deserve a second chance, but that's what getting their second not so new Chromebook is. And then if they destroy that one, I don't know what to do after that, aside from the parents paying, but yeah. What's up, Chris Cass? What up, what up, what up? I know you're not saying he's wrong. I was personally playing devil's advocate to see if we could come up with a way to like spin Chris as an evil person, but I don't think so. I think I think what Chris is doing is pretty clear cut and dry. Fine. Yeah, for sure. Some of those kids should get a Flintstone tablet, straight up stone and chisel. Yeah. My methods were mostly reactive anyways. It wasn't until stuff broke that my team would get involved. Yeah. Chris going class to class and pointing out the kids. He's like, you get a bad one. You get a bad one. Calling them out like in front of their peers. Man. I mean, Chris, I feel like Chris, you know, he's got some, you know, bulk to him. He's got facial hair and stuff. I mean, like, I feel like he could have a commanding presence in doing that. Whereas, could you imagine me trying to teach like a high school or middle school class, or like, I don't know, just be anything in a school? The kids would probably bully me. You kidding me? Kids are bigger and taller than me. Plenty of them probably have deeper voices than me. I would not survive in a public school environment, especially like a problematic, like lower income, like one that I grew up in. No, I would be torn to shreds unless I was the cool teacher, right? But even if you're the cool teacher, there's always going to be kids that no matter what are, you know, they're going to be defiant to authority and things like that. So yeah, no. I'm not cut out for it, but I feel like Chris has got some intimidation factor to him. Most 12-year, well, the thing is, I wouldn't disclose. And I guess you can't beat up kids. I don't think that an average 12-year-old could kick my ass. I'm pretty confident I could kick, even though that's not a high bar to set. I'm pretty confident I could kick the average 12-year-old's ass. Unless they're like a 12-year-old jiu-jitsu MMA champion. But the average one, I'm pretty sure I could kick their ass, even if they were bigger than me. But that's not a very high bar to set. Bad kids would not listen to you as a teacher. Yeah, I mean, bad kids are even like, they don't even listen to like much more like, you know, intimidating, commanding teachers. I've seen that personally. When a kid is talking back to like an ex-college football player, 6 foot, 350-pound teacher sitting right in front of them, there's nobody that you could put in that spot that they're not going to talk back to. So yeah. No, I've seen some ridiculous things especially when I was in high school. 100 kids versus one gorilla. Yeah, 50 kids versus one Chris. Teacher, I don't want to run a poll on this because people would even think that's political. I'm going to end the poll. 66%, 2/3 of y'all think Intel is gonna announce the B770. I don't think so, but we will see. I'm part of that 1/3. But no. Yeah, I agree. No, teachers should be paid more. Are you kidding me? Like, but then there are people who believe that public schools are a failure. It's never going to work out. They are turning towards homeschooling or private schools, which education for profit. I mean, that's what college. We're not going to unravel that messy topic, but in general, I think teachers should be paid more than they are. At least public school teachers. For what they have to put up with, because it's glorified daycare. Do you know how much day or childcare costs? Like, just in general, whether they be toddlers to like pre-K per kid, and then you go to public school, and then parents are also now treating that as 8 hours of free daycare. Yeah, I don't know. Lots of opinions on stuff like that, but yeah, you're molding the minds of the younger generation in these places. So you would think you want the most nurturing, best environment for them. But yeah, be the tech support in SoCal prison. Some teachers should be paid less. Yeah, I mean, I definitely had my fair share of teachers that weren't doing a good job at all. I would agree, but I feel like in general, teachers aren't paid enough. I would rather raise the bar on what teachers are paid and pay them more, and have some teachers who don't deserve it get paid more, than the situation we have right now in the ones that deserve it not getting it, right? Like, both situations have pros and cons, but I would rather some get by getting paid a little bit more, even if it's undeserving, than what we have right now. There's a pandemic. There's a shortage of female teachers. Oh wait, there's a pandemic of female teachers having relations with their male students. Dude, that's been is it? I don't know. I don't know what the stats are, but that's been a thing since I feel like I was in grade school. I don't know if it's because, mainstream media. I don't know what the actual stats on it are, but obviously if it happens and it makes the news cycle and it gets more viewership, like, the stories are gonna run, but I don't know if it's representative of how often it actually happens, if you know what I'm saying. We would have to look this up. Maybe we could ask Grok or Chat GPT. They might know the answer to it, but I don't want to get into that stuff. Grown-up kids raising kids and single-parent households make me not ever want to step foot in school. Yep, that is the thing. Seen it and have friends that have experienced that personally. All right, let me read oh, okay. So I believe we've talked about. We talked about Computex around the corner. So 9060s coming out, and then ARC B770s and more. Okay. Hardware. Again, you guys, there's only like 100 something people here. Even though it's spoiling it for you guys, I'm sure you guys wouldn't mind. I have 2 paths of hardware I could go. I'm holding one of it in my hand right now. I've already spent, by this point, like over $600 on storage space. So I'm trying to, if I can, reduce the cost. I have, especially old parts that are not really depreciating anymore. I have old parts on hand I can use for my upcoming server build, right? And for that, like, the thing to do for your server, especially if power consumption, if you're running this 24/7, you want the least amount of power consumption. So integrated graphics is the play for the home DIY server. Now, ideally, I think a lot of people just say Intel is ideally you want something like modern Intel. That's like the most problem-free, energy efficient, because Intel has the integrated graphics it's better than AMD's integrated graphics if you're doing like, you know, multiple parallel transcoding. So like modern Intel chip is what it seems like, if money isn't an issue, is what people are doing, right? 12th, 13th, 14th gen, maybe even go back to like 10th gen. But I do not have one free that I could use for that. So I'm trying to use as many parts I have on hand to not spend more money as possible. It might not be the most ideal configuration out the door, but I will gladly pick up deals later on if I can find like a 12th or 13th gen Intel chip and a cheap motherboard. I've been looking, it's just I haven't found any deals. So I don't want to wait till I find the deal because it might not come for months, and I want to get this server up and running, or this, at least the NAS portion of it, so that I can start backing up my data and moving things from my very filled to the brim drive. Now, this is a 6th gen Intel setup right here. Oh, you guys have seen this on the channel. But it came in like a build refresh video probably a few years ago. First of all, y'all recognize this cooler? If you guys have been around since 2017, 2018, you guys know what brand this cooler is from. Otherwise, if you're newer to the PC tech space, you might not. Let's see who's the first person who's going to be able to name the company. There it is. Of course, Chris with the answer. CryoRig. Still, to this day, it's so weird. I know companies come and go and they fall off the radar, but CryoRig, for how hyped they were in that span of like 2 to 3 years when they first came onto the scene, my goodness, what happened to them? It was, I feel like it was short-lived, and now we're gonna have to see what happens with Thermalright. Thermalright right now is killing it. They've got so many good coolers for like so affordable prices. If they disappear in a year or two, if they get replaced, it's whatever, but it'll be like a weird trend that we see. But anyways, this has an Intel i5 6600K in it. It's a micro ATX motherboard, which normally a lot of these boards tend to have 4 SATA ports. This one has 6. It is an overclockable motherboard. Obviously, I'm not going to be overclocking because I'm trying to, if anything, run it underpowered instead of, you know, over. I'll be running it off integrated graphics, so who cares if it's PCI Express 3.0 for the time being anyways. And this won't be like a long-term solution. This will be until I could find like better deals, because I'm trying not to spend more money if I can. So this is one option. 6th gen Intel. The other option is I do have an AMD 5600G. So AM4, I heard with the earlier Ryzen APUs, using them in home servers is problematic, and the integrated graphics on them were like either buggy, not compatible, you had to do workarounds. But once they got around to 5th gen Ryzen and newer, it was less of a problem. So, but then it's still AMD. Anytime I look up things for home servers and people ask AMD or Intel, I've seen more people recommend, you know, just Intel. But I have a kind of particular use case here, because a lot of people, when they ask AMD versus Intel for home server stuff, they're asking newer stuff compared to newer stuff. Like, oh, 12th gen versus, you know, 5000 series APU. I'm asking old Intel versus new AMD, which I have a feeling people might still lean towards Intel. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think. So for DIY home server, which would you recommend? And then if you don't have any recommendations because you're clueless about it like I am, just don't recommend anything. I have no idea. Okay, and then so 6th gen Intel versus 5600G. Let's see. i5 6600K. Or Ryzen 5. Okay, I have no idea. So if you guys want to vote, feel free to vote. But I'm going to read the responses. I'd say go AMD. I'm not gonna use ECC RAM. I'm gonna use the RAM that I have. Like, I mean, yeah. Right now, I'm trying to just use what I have on hand. I have RAM on hand. You can't. I see where you're coming from. You can even use it, but I don't have. Wait, I did, but I do have. Did I get ECC RAM for that Xeon build that I did? I would have to take a look. I could use ECC RAM, but in the grand scheme of things, for using it for a NAS, I'm trying to think beyond just the mass storage. What else am I going to use it for where ECC RAM would be that much more impactful and important? Like, I'm going to use what I have on hand. I have to check because I don't remember. My God, how is my memory that bad? Did I buy a motherboard that was not ECC specifically? But yeah. Okay, let me read. No way Thermalright goes way too far back to just suddenly fold. Yeah, so Thermalright, you're right. They are an older company, but I feel like it was in the more recent years that they like sprung into like super, to the spotlight with how cheap and affordable their stuff is. People remember the Hyper 212? It held the crown for budget king for the longest time. Where was Thermalright when that happened? I don't know what their pricing was back like, years and years ago, but yeah. Future proofing is the F word of PC building. Yeah. CryoRig still does exist, but they're either stupid expensive, at least in the US. CryoRig had a thing where they weren't selling in the US for a long time. Like, the only way you could get it was from third-party sellers through Newegg or Amazon, and they were like dumb, stupid expensive. For example, while you guys type in your server-related stuff, so let's look at Newegg, right? And I know not everything's centered around the US, but for how prominent they were in the US, for them to just like, look, this is, come on, $130, $132 for an H7. These are stupid markup from Hong Kong with $50 shipping. Yeah, they're still available, but in the US, they're pretty much non-existent at reasonable prices. Let me look at Amazon. I have a few CryoRig coolers that I will probably never sell just because, like, they're not worth that much. No one's gonna pay extra for them, and I'm just gonna keep them as like a keepsake. But yeah, CryoRig, there's some fans, I guess, for $88 if you think that's a value deal. But yeah, CryoRig, I knew that they still sold around the world, but even then, I don't know if CryoRig is worth it outside the US, even though they're still making and selling. So yeah. I said it first, Chris, delete your message now. Jason beat you to the ECC RAM play, so yeah. Intel for home servers is greater, much better. Even in this scenario with old Intel, because we got to think about how old is Skylake now. Was it 2013 or 2014? Intel i5 6600K that was released in end of service in 2022, but it came out. What year did it come out? Oh no, it launched in 2015. And then probably earlier in the year was when the i7 came out. So 2015, Q3, coming up on 10 years old, this chip. Versus, I guess the 5600G by this point is what, like 4 years old? Do I have that right? Stay away from AMD, says people. Casey Walls, what up? Hey, Jason. Don't text and drive. What up, KC? i3 ECC. It's an i6. Just throw a... I do also have... Because I bought a 4790K somewhat recently. But power... The power efficiency and to get a motherboard with the SATA ports and all that. I don't remember. I think... I don't remember what graphics 4790K. Let me see. Was it still UHD or HD 630? UHD 6 no, Intel graphics 4600 for the 4790K, and then HD 530 on the i5. So it was the new, I guess, architecture you can call it for the iGPU at that point. Amelie Shark Tooth. Love the content. Thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it. So Intel all the way. The votes. There's slightly more votes for the 5600G. So that's what I'm not fully sure about. So people are saying ECC for the Intel. Wait. Wouldn't the board have to support it? You said you may have to. Are you saying because the CPU supports it? But oh my gosh. But if I'm not going out to buy a new motherboard. But let me take a look. Let me take a look because this is ASRock Z174 Pro S. Pro 4S. Pro 4S. Okay, memory. Oh, yep. Okay. But so just being Intel, regardless of generation, I feel like people think that's like a pro. And then ECC, which unless I have sticks on hand, I need to go check. I would just be running, standard. Anyway, so let's see what else people have to say. RIP ATI. If I wanted to build a Plex server, should I use Intel or AMD? Intel has quicksand. If you don't, the chat hopped. If you don't care about electricity prices, go with OG. So I'm somewhat, I somewhat care about electricity prices. Like, I care about electricity prices to within the hardware that I own. I would lean towards things with lower electricity prices. But I'm not gonna go out and buy things right now. I think there's so much potential content with the server stuff that, like, by me doing it and not making it the best server off the bat, that's follow-up content and learning opportunities for me, this being, my first time doing this, to do each of the steps. So, like, if you start off and get the best server that's just up and running and there's no need for upgrades or to make changes, then that's only one video and then you don't do anything with it, which originally that's what I wanted because I'm lazy. But it seems like people are actually interested in server stuff. So, like, if I do hardware swaps and stuff and, like, drive what's it called, like storage full upgrades and then resilvering and stuff like that, people might be interested in watching it. So I'm okay with doing it in steps instead of getting just the best thing. But so Intel with iGPU is, I think Jason's answering for the Plex. Yeah, I think everything I've read with Plex, they're like, go Intel iGPU. While AMD can do it, Intel can do it better. Later, Jake Dog. Later. Jason, would a 12100 get the job done, or you need a 12400? So I've been actually shopping this whole last week in the used market for 12100s. They're floating around 80 to 90 bucks, but then you gotta get the motherboard, which those are still kind of pricey, even with used Amazon. So, like, I want to find a good deal when I do the upgrade, and I'm not finding 80 bucks. You can get 12100 any day of the week almost. Maybe 85 on Amazon, Renewed or eBay. I'm trying to find like $60 12100, kind of like that lightning strike, once in a while good deal on Facebook or OfferUp to do the upgrade. So that's why I'm not going straight to the 12100. And then 12400, because Jason uses a 12400. Obviously, the better CPU is going to be nicer, more capability on the cores and the IGPU. I forget if the IGPU is the exact same or not. But they might actually be the same. But let me see. Is it the 730 Intel? Yeah, they might actually be both 730s. But just having more processing power for your server in general is never like a bad thing. You could always disable cores or like limit the power. But yeah. Who remembers LAN party motherboards being LAN party motherboards in 2009? What would be a LAN party motherboard, and why would you need a specific LAN party motherboard? that costs more? I'm trying to think. Unless you're meaning something and I'm misinterpreting it. Yeah, see, so Reluctant Hero. The thing about when you start talking about things that is new to you, right? And then this is why I kind of like this, because it regrounds you, but it also gives other people a reminder that like not everybody is at the same level as you when you talk about stuff. Like, I'm very excited to go into this server stuff as a complete like newbie. I was gonna say a complete idiot, but just being not knowledgeable about something because you haven't learned it doesn't make you an idiot. Even though I would probably call myself an idiot a lot, because self-deprecation is, you know, just a thing that people use for humor and coping. But yeah, going into something not new, like this happens to me so many times. Reluctant Hero says, I don't know what virtualization is yet. Thank you, Jason. When I'm looking up server stuff and people are saying like just do this, or I think like if virtualization is like VMEs or running, you know, doing virtual machines and stuff, if it's even related, I'm like, oh great, now I gotta look up this terminology, that acronym, this terminology and stuff. But the lingo to the people who have been doing it for years, they just like it, you know, it just rolls off the tongue easily, and then everybody gets the jargon. But when you're new to it, it's like, oh my god, everything you're saying is going over my head. It's like a different language. But then I relate that back to like when I speak to someone about PC stuff, which I'm super comfortable about, I need to remind myself that I can't just say like, oh yeah, you just want to get an APU because that's more price efficient and you can upgrade the GPU down the line, right? For that, you want to break it down to them and say, oh, you want to buy the CPU, which has a component to it that is almost like if you had a graphics card, because it lets you run the computer and get a display for cheaper, and you can later on buy a strong graphics card to pair with it. Like, you gotta literally break it down to explain it to a fourth grader type levels with some of this stuff. So yeah, just seeing this, it's so funny because I'm going through the same thing. Every single thing, even when you guys are telling me recommendations right now, or like in the past several weeks as we've been talking about servers, I'm just like, yes, I'm gonna have to go look that up. Yeah, so one of the things specifically, I want to see how easy it is. I have heard from multiple sources that if you want to upgrade your server, all you got to do is shut the server down, switch the hardware over, and you should be able to spin it back up. Like, in my mind, I'm like, is it that easy? Or when you spin it back up, are you going to get some kind of menu? You know, even when you do that with a gaming computer, they tell you like, oh, new CPU detected. We're going to go into setup in BIOS and stuff. On the server side of things, everyone always says, oh, it's so easy. You just switch the parts and it's just going to work. I want to like see the steps and even show it in a video. Like, all right, I'm going to now swap out my whole motherboard and the CPU, replug it into newer hardware, and I'm going to turn on the server. Is it just going to spin back up seamlessly like nothing happened? Or how many steps is there in between? Because again, when you've been doing computer stuff and when you've been doing server stuff for so long, everything is like the easiest thing in the world to do. Oh yes, replacing a graphics card is super easy. You just unplug it and then you pop the new one in, and then like, you know, people just say swapping a graphics card is easy. But to a newbie, running DDU, getting the new drivers, freaking out if their graphics card isn't showing display at like the first attempt when they pop their new card in, all that stuff, it sends people into a panic. So yeah, I'm very excited about this server stuff because there's so many things that I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna get into the weeds of like, all right, how easy is this actually, and are people downplaying how many steps there are to do things? FYI, if you spank a child in public, you will go to jail for child abuse. Why are we talking about spanking a child in public, Adam? Where did that come from? But yes, I don't know if you go to jail. People will definitely record you, put you on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If people call the cops, yes, the cops might come they'll take you to jail, but you'll probably get off like on a low fine or something. Like, spanking a child, I would imagine it's not like hard time, but I don't know where that came from. Wait, am I gonna need an HBA? I'm not, because I'm planning on only running 5s. And yeah, see, HBA, if that term was thrown around initially, I was like, the hell are these guys talking about? No, but I won't need an HBA, and I specifically am gonna use motherboards that have at least 6 because I'm running 5 hard drives. So HBAs, depending on where you're looking, and since I'm a noob, like when you're deal hunting as a noob, it's a lot harder because you find like these different things with slightly different model numbers, and you're like, oh, which one should I really get? Like, you're very hesitant to pull the trigger on parts like this, especially kind of more niche server specific. But I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be able to run everything through SATA because both boards I'm considering has 6. And then HBA will be later on if I throw more drives in and I'm learning more about adding to the array. But I actually asked a question in the Discord server about HBAs this past weekend, I think. But yeah, I'm not gonna need one. And that's just for people who don't know, that's for to be able to add additional I guess SAS or SATA, 2 different interfaces for hard drives, because if you're going to be running a lot of hard drives, you're going to run out of data connectors to your motherboard to it. So you're going to need to populate one of the PCI Express slots with additional card for expansion to it. But yeah. Yes, I will monitor the power draw at the wall, but like whatever I choose, I'm not going to run it like for the end of time, right? It'll probably be for a few months as I keep deal hunting. Then eventually I'm going to upgrade and then monitor that. Yeah, I have both a UPS and a wall watt meter so that I can monitor at the wall to see what the idle power and the when like the drive in the system is in use for, I guess for me, data transfer is the biggest thing, to what the power draw stuff is. AMD is more relatable for, I feel like with server stuff, Intel is more relatable if everyone truly is going Intel. The votes, Ryzen, the AMD system is still winning, so I can see 5600G price right. I already have the 5600G. So this video isn't going to be like, you should copy me. People are going to get pissed probably that I'm like, hey, I have these parts on hand. They're going to be like, you can't put that in. I'm not going to, if I do like a build price summary, I'll just use average prices on eBay. But this isn't like, hey, this is an example you should do. This is just like, I'm sharing my experience building my first server. And yes, I do have parts on hand that have already been paid for. So I will go to eBay and find an average sold price and factor that into the value of the build. Anything else that like the drives that I bought really recently, I'll put the drop prices I paid there, even though people won't be able to find it for that much. Yeah. Are the BIOS up to date? Seems like every motherboard I bought lately needs an update. I don't know if I think I because I worked on this system recently, the last BIOS on this was probably years ago. I likely would have upgraded the BIOS, but I definitely would check that. I don't have a NAS, so all my PCs are AMD. You'd be surprised how little CPU power you need. Yeah, so that's the next question. So I will keep, how much PCI do you have? I have 2, so I could get an HBA, so you're saying, yeah, A310, yeah. So I have 2 x 16, but in terms of, but using another card, first of all, I don't have an A310 or A380 on hand, so that would be something I had to buy. But then, wouldn't that be more power draw? Even though we do have cheap power in Washington, I did ask ChatGPT. So, like, okay. Wait, no, let me use it without signing in. Oh. Did they change it? I used to be able to... no, I can't use ChatGPT for free. Log in, sign in. Okay. You know what? We're going to ask Google AI. Can you calculate how much it would cost for someone in Seattle? This is not gonna automatically. Will the AI do this? I actually hate Google AI, right? Even though every time I search something, Google AI comes up with the response. I've never intentionally used Google to ask a question as if it was an AI engine, but we're gonna try right now and see. Of all the times I ask it things, it always wants to give me an AI response first. Let's see if it does it right here and how good it is. Can you calculate how much it would cost for someone in Seattle to run a home server 24/7 that pulls, let's just say 75 watts from the wall? Is Google AI gonna do it? Oh! PyNAS is the way to go. My Plex server runs on a separate box. So I'm going to ask you guys some more server stuff. DFI LAN party. I'm more worried about the drives pulling back. Yeah. I think that's going to be the issue in general, especially once you start having a larger array of drives. The drives are going to pull way more power than the actual hardware itself. Someone left a comment saying, I don't need to explain what, or wait, I left a comment saying, I don't need to explain what DLS is every video. And I'm like, yes, I do. Not everyone is you. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I think elitists, it's so funny because damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't explain it, people are gonna ask the questions. If you explain it, all the snobby people are like, I'm smart enough, I don't need this. You know, screw all the people who don't know what this is. Yeah. It's honestly so much more seamless than a Windows gaming PC. I'm gonna give my thoughts on that, and I'm gonna be as real as possible. You know, obviously, I'm way more comfortable with a Windows gaming PC now than server stuff, so we'll see. Okay, let's look at this though. The power, let's just say 75 watts, which this seems like on the higher side, right? I'm just accounting for like, while the drives are either reading or writing, and there's like, you know, let's say you're running a case full of drives and stuff like that. So 75 watts, Seattle, 24/7. The average electricity cost is 14 cents, which is still low relative to across the country. 1 kilowatt hour, yeah. 24 hours a day. They calculated it, how much it's gonna cost annually. And this, if 75 watts, which I have no idea what all the hardware is gonna be, 92 a year. So break that down per month, and that's like less than $8 a month. I don't plan on having this config for like a year. I am planning definitely on upgrading it beforehand. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably pay for power towards it. Maybe like 30-40 bucks depending on how long it takes me to find a deal. So yeah. Yeah, man, Stan. I see we got to the child spanking part of the stream, lol. I don't even know where that came from, honestly. Let's see. Law, he should use HBA if you ever plan to virtualize. And that could be another thing too, right? How easy is it is it as easy as shutting down the server, unplugging, assuming you get an HBA that is, you know, splits from SAS to like multiple SATA? Is it as easy as plugging it in? I saw that some of the HBAs you need a flash. What's the flashing process like? I've been doing research, and obviously to me, until you do it, you read things. My assumption is this: anytime people talk about server stuff, there's more, obviously there's going to be more steps to what they say. So in my mind, I'm keeping track of like, all right, someone says to do this. How long does it actually take? What steps is actually to go do it, right? But is it as easy as just swapping the connectors, plugging in the HPA, and boom, your server is up as if nothing happened? But yeah, you may have answered this, or it goes without saying, but OS will be on the SSD/M.2, right? If you're talking about for me for the server, it looks like it's gonna be on the USB. I don't know enough about all the operating or the different, you know, server operating systems that are out there that you can use. Which ones are like you have to run off like a thumb drive versus you can run on the SSD. Like, but it seems like I'm like 99% going unraid, and there's no way to run unraid off of an SSD. I looked. I was like, okay, everyone's told me, but have they made any developments in like the recent months maybe that you can run it off the SSD, so I don't have to like worry about accidentally knocking the thumb drive and breaking it? But it doesn't look like it. 4 TB drives. I don't know if I need more. Planning on using a 3700X and have decided on GPU. Maybe a GT 1030 I have on hand. I mean, so I have a lot of different CPUs and GPUs on hand, but I do want to run off the iGPU just for the power efficiency, just less parts, like less connectors, you know, just simplify it. Just plug in the things that you need to get the CPU running, and that's it. Collab idea: get Jeff from Craft Computing to review your final server build. He definitely wouldn't make a full video on it. He might pull it up on his stream, which actually happens around right now. His streams, we both stream on Wednesdays, but yeah, I feel like he has. If anything, did he review how much Linux stuff does Jeff actually do? If anything, like him reviewing the PewDiePie thoughts on it would be a thing. I don't know if he would. It would be like a high viewing video enough for him to do. But once the server's up, remind me, and we could maybe float the idea by him. How about the 8600G Zen 4? I'm not buying it. Whatever I'm gonna end up using, I already have on hand. There is a stay logged out option if you want to use ChatGPT. It's fine. It looks like Google AI came in handy. Just looking at the numbers real quick, it looks like they were I did it in ChatGPT before. It runs similar numbers. So the iGPU draws nothing whilst nothing happens. Sorry, the Intel add-in card. Idle power draws very low. If I had the cards on hand, maybe, but since I don't, I'm actually kind of curious, too. To me, the Skylake CPU option is interesting, not because I care about putting in ECC RAM, not because people told me Intel is better, but it's just, you see all these videos of people saying you can make your budget home server with like, for $15 with that office tower you found in the trash can on the side of the street. Like, people are pushing the limits of how cheap you can spin up like a home server. So the Skylake CPU, even though it's not the cheapest thing you could buy, it is on like the, you know, using almost decade-old technology. So that's what interests me about that. Whereas on the AMD side of things, it's just the wonkiness and weirdness of AMD and like troubleshooting or like the potential for the need to troubleshoot and compatibility. And like, I straight up saw multiple people say, I have a Ryzen 2200G that I was considering, and people are like, do not use first gen Ryzen APUs. Like, straight up, you will get no video output and you're gonna have to do workarounds on it. No matter what solution I choose, there will be interesting like content to make from it, I guess. I would like to join the Nobe cloud storage pool. I don't want you to have access to my homework. I got homework since I literally have homework from like high school. And when I say homework, I mean literal homework and projects. I don't know what you guys are thinking of when I say homework, but I have literal homework and project, senior culminating projects and stuff from high school on my, you know, long-term storage. I thought you said you weren't going to run Plex or Jellyfin. I'm not. And are you talking about for adding GPU? Again, right now, main thing is get it up and running so I could take everything that I have on my external drives and move it over there. And then maybe what is like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't have that much interest in Plex. And maybe I'll spin up a server for Valheim or for like Power World or something. But like, what is the most common use cases aside from, for me, the NAS or the mass storage aspect of it? What is the next most interesting thing that people do? I think Plex is up there, but I'm just personally not interested. I don't even have like a ton of media to be able to. Now, is this like a rabbit hole I'm gonna go into where I'm now gonna start downloading everything under the sun so I can have my own personal collection of media to watch on my living room TV? Like, aside from mass storage and then Plex and then running game servers, and then I guess virtual machines. Yeah, Minecraft, people say, for group server. I wasn't sure why people were recommending a dedicated GPU. I think they're just recommending it because it's cool to do and different. I don't know. Like, yeah, for running, for what I'm doing, I think I've seen people doing it off of like Chromebooks, which is my next question. I'd like to try to host a server for Skyrim together. Oh my God. Dude, I don't know if it's a coincidence. We have been talking about Oblivion, and I did mention I was playing Skyrim in like the last few streams. Skyrim together looks pretty awesome. I saw kind of like the more recent video updates on what that is about. I actually tossed the idea to the LAN group about it. Skyrim together. I'm not saying I'm going to spin up a server for that, but it looks pretty buggy. Apparently, it's still like a pretty buggy mess, but still a fun experience. But I'm sorry, I just saw you mention it, and it got me excited because a game like Skyrim, even though there is Elder Scrolls Online, it's not the same. Skyrim together, within the last like month or two, I came across it, or I learned about it, and it got me pretty excited about, potentially playing it with my friends. So earlier versions were very buggy. The last video I saw on it, I think the last like big update video or any content creator that reviewed it was like within like the last 6 months. I thought they said they still has like disconnect problems and things like that, but it, again, I would still be interested in trying it out. All right, so people are saying 5600G, so I think I might do 5600G unless someone can give a super compelling reason, or unless as I'm building it, or later down the road I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't gonna work, like or if it just doesn't work in general, I might just pop it out and say, screw it, we're doing the Intel. People like ad blockers, self-hosted cameras. Wait, so the ad blocker thing, I have seen this. I don't understand how the ad blocker works. Can you explain it like I'm an idiot? Or a 5-year-old, or explain it like I'm 5, or in 4th grade. It's explained like I'm 5. I got that mixed up with 4th grader. But yeah, so I saw the ad blocker thing, so most people, if they get ad blocker, I would assume, because they're not super tech savvy and have their own servers, they do it via just like their browser extensions. But it seems like browser extensions have either become like paywall ridden, or like they're being blocked by YouTube. So what is it about doing like ad blocker stuff with your server? What is unique about that? Because I haven't looked into it. I've just seen people mention it, but because it's not directly impacting me, like I wasn't seeking the answer. But now that you brought it up, Jason, I'm curious. So it's a custom DNS server you host yourself, but you block a bunch of famous connections that ad people use. So it blocks most connections. It's great because you can put it on your home router. So then you do it, and then you basically have ad block without having to run the extension. And it just works automatically with any system connected to your network. Is that what the play is? That's what I would assume, but let's see. And then it blocks ads on your phone. Oh, okay. So that is exactly what it is. That sounds like work to set up. But then, of course, I would imagine people would say it's not that much work to set up. So maybe I gotta actually look into it and see what it is. But okay, interesting. Yeah. Home assistant, start with hosted cameras, self-hosted cameras, that makes sense. Start with subscriptions, you pay usually first to eliminate that. Okay, got it. Home cable network over IPTV. Okay. start with the Xeon so you can rent Time to Saver, Skyrim together, and GTA 6 LFG fellas. Dude, I'm just gonna say the last time I tried to play GTA with the stream, this was a while ago. I don't know if any of you guys were there. I did try to play GTA 5 online with the stream. I added people, and some person had to ruin the experience by hacking. And I forgot what the hack was, but it made it unplayable. Like, they made me blow up constantly, so I couldn't even open the jobs list. Or did I open and get a job started, but then they still blew me up? Whatever it was, this was like a couple of years ago. But like, the only thing about playing games, one, people don't care about watching me do that, right? Every time I play games on stream, nobody cares to watch. The viewer count plummets. But you also get the one bad egg that ruins the experience when we try to play games together as a group. Unfortunately, with GTA anyways. So. But it also blocks tracking and stuff. People that, like, okay, I could see the use for that. Right now, I could say that because I'm still oblivious to many of those things and have not gone through the weeds of setting it up and experiencing it. It's like, I can't want what I've never had. But once I do it, I might not want to turn back, and I might start recommending it to people because it was like a life-changing experience. But okay, I got it. Old heads remember when... I don't even remember. Were you around then, Jason? This is how bad my memory is, or this is how long ago. I don't remember when was that. Why don't you play games on Twitch and keep the other stuff on YouTube? I'm down to sub. I've expressed my opinions on Twitch many a times before. The viewing experience on Twitch is just so bad. Like, if you think YouTube is bad with ads, Twitch is like way worse. And just splitting the viewers, I don't know. Like, this sometimes I just want to also dual stream to Twitch just to show people how bad the viewer difference is. But I don't know. Jason, you started streaming on Twitch. I know you started recently, so maybe that's not enough data points, but like, I don't remember how many streams you have on Twitch so far, but I imagine if I streamed on both YouTube and Twitch, like right now we're at like over 100. We usually average over 100 per stream. I'm thinking Twitch viewership is like 10, if that. And the thought is like, oh, you have to nurture it and all that stuff. I just think Twitch is the worst viewing experience. If you come late, if you have to use the bathroom, there's no rewinding feature. If the stream ends, they don't keep it for more than a year. But then you can say, oh, they can go watch it on YouTube because YouTube archives your stream to the end of time. But just Twitch, I just don't want to support Twitch at all. And that's from someone who is on YouTube and people say YouTube is bad. That's how much worse I view Twitch as a whole platform. But of course I'm biased. I'm successful on YouTube, so, or somewhat successful. So yeah. Halo Infinite days, yeah. Oh yeah, I remember, yep, the Elden Ring, yep, yeah. If Danny sparks up a Twitch, his viewers will accidentally go to the hot tubs and pools section, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying it out. I only have like 2 or 3 viewers on Twitch and like 30 watch on the VOD. And the VOD's gonna disappear after like a month, right? And unskippable ads 7 to 9. Yeah, it's... The whole Twitch thing... Me going to Twitch, because I do pop into Twitch every once in a while. And I quickly leave it because it is that bad. So, yeah. I'm not... And the Twitch culture... I'm too, like, I wouldn't fit in with the Twitch culture. Hype trains and, like, chat spamming freaking Pepe frogs and all that stuff. I don't know. Twitch is lucky it's owned by Amazon. Yeah, because it's like, they're not making money, right? Okay. I gotta go soon. I did have a question for you server people out there. I see especially since my YouTube algorithm is now feeding me server stuff because I've been looking it up and trying to learn. I see so many people like, oh yes, make a NAS server, DIY home server, all that good stuff. With the cheapest hardware out there. The thing they never mention, because they always use like a Chromebook. They always use that Dell or HP office tower that they found at a junkyard for 20 bucks or stuff. Right? is what happens when you need to fit more than the, I don't know, 4 drives that those motherboards typically support. Or especially with Chromebooks, laptops. There's a lot of content on YouTube like, oh, spin up your own home server and NAS. And all I see them do is plug in like an external hard drive to the laptop and call that their you know, network attached mass storage that they have the like Unraid or TrueNAS on the laptop. And I'm like, wait, this does not apply to me because I'm running like 5+ hard drives off the bat. I don't imagine they're buying like those Synology or Ugreens because those operate out of themselves. But I looked at the prices of like multiple like 6 to 8 drive. We can look at the prices right now together. Like USB based hard drive I guess boxes. And they're like hundreds of dollars. At that point, it's almost, I mean, it is cheaper than buying like an 8-bay Synology or 8-bay Ugreen because those are like thousands of dollars. But it's an 8-bay hard drive dock. Sure, USB, right? So if they wanted, like, let's just say, I'm not going to do this, but if I wanted to run a home storage server off of a Chromebook, but still have my nice little NAS running from it, I'm going to have to buy one of these things, right? That's like USB based. This is to USB A, yeah, 3.0 or eSATA, right? Like, they never mention this in those videos when I come across them. Like, oh, yes, build a home server with a recycled Chromebook for less than $10. And then they conveniently ignore what add-on stuff you need to actually have a multi-bay with some form of like redundancy or, you know, parity and stuff like that. Like when you need more bays. Please, I'm not going to buy it, but I'm just saying, is this what people do when they are trying to make a NAS out of Office PCs? And they, or I guess Office PCs, you could probably use an HBA. But in terms of space-wise, you're not going to be able to store it in that because you've seen the Optiplexes and the HP and Lenovo towers. They only have room for like 2 drives. Maybe some have room for like 4. But like, I don't know. It just seems like a thing they conveniently leave out. And I get frustrated when I'm watching the content because I feel like that's a crucial piece to a NAS. Assuming, I don't know, maybe most people who run like network attached storage, whatever the solution is, maybe they don't run lots of drives. Maybe I'm the 1% for running 5+ drives. I don't know. Oh, Shauna posted the 980 that was painted. All right. While you guys answer that question, I'm going to end the poll. 5600G. I'm writing it down. And I'm going to say that in the video. 5600G. We're going to go with that. And hopefully I don't run into any problems. But, okay. Oh, here. Oh, you don't have it of the card? Oh, man. This is straight up a like pastel bubblegum build. Let me look at the details. I wish you had other angles of it, but yeah, see, this is the most difficult part, I would imagine. Did you tape that off and then cut it with an X-Acto knife? The reason this build looks, I like the color combination and the theme. Good job. And it's in the ITX, looks very nice and compact and looks different. And unique from, you know, the typical build. But I'm always afraid of painting, even though I've painted before, because like you're gonna get imperfections, and to me it bugs the crap out of me. Like it will make me lose sleep thinking about it all the time if I mess up painting. You can find your other pictures, no worries. If you do, feel free to post them. We can pull up in next streams, or like I could just take a look. But yeah, cheap home servers are always a jumping off point. I feel like people can use it and then upgrade later if they love it. Yeah, so it's like dipping your feet in without making a big commitment. But I just spent like so 180. I just spent a little bit over $600 in hard drives. I feel like I am beyond the dipping my toes in. I think I'm pretty fully invested by this point. It doesn't mean I don't want to save money, because I do want to still use like, you know, old hardware I have on hand. But again, for me, the drives are the most important thing. I always wanted to do a NAS PC that connected to a disk shelf, a home server. Yeah, I know it's not always about upgradable NAS. Sometimes they're doing it for other things. But even the NAS specific videos that I've seen, they would put unraid or true NAS, unraid or true NAS, and are specifically talking about NAS. One of them I saw, they removed the optical drive and put a single spinning 2.5-inch disc in and called that the NAS, which technically it is. It is storage, part of a network that you could access. But I don't know. I guess what I'm looking for, not many people do it. Like, you have to kind of commit to a tower build. The cheap office PC NAS is more like, here's a system to start and then you upgrade to better system later. Okay, yeah. So multiple of you guys are saying that, which is kind of unfortunate. Maybe there will be a code that is cracked in the future where like large like array of drives can be done for really cheap. But right now it doesn't seem like it can. It's about being able to start cheap, but in the end you would have been better off with a full ATX case, which is what I'm not starting up with the tower I got was considered mid tower, but yeah, full ATX gives even more expansion. Those are more of home servers. Yep. They're on services that don't need multiple hard drives. Yeah. And I totally got that. I understand. When someone says home server, I don't think of automatically NAS and like NAS storage. But the videos, because there's not many videos that talk about specifically for NAS. And of the ones I did find, I didn't find how they did it. And it's glaringly obvious now that they aren't doing it for like, 6+ drive arrays. Those people are just LARPing. Don't take them serious. Yeah. My first home server was an external drive plugged into a laptop. It was awesome. That technically counts as, when you say that, were you just running that through Windows and making that drive accessible to anybody on the network, or were you using a specific OS on that? It can be done, but it requires cheap old enterprise JBOD that aren't power efficient, and it'll never be that cheap. They assume if you can afford $600 drives, you can buy a nice server. Yeah, that is true. I'm trying to mix some weird, like, my thought process is kind of skewed sometimes, where I'm like, you're okay with spending $600 just on storage alone, and you don't want to spend like, extra money on an HBA or on whatever the heck these, disk docks are. You might as well get an HBA now if you're planning on expanding. Mobile may not have as many SATA ports. Yeah. That's why I was kind of asking questions and looking. I'm good for now. And with the ability to expand to one drive, but then I would be full and would need it. I think I want to do a little bit more research. It's kind of like when somebody asks, I have $200. What should I buy for a graphics card? Oh, that's a loaded question, right? You could answer that in so many ways. And for getting an HBA, there's multiple options out there. Between the different options, there's probably not a huge difference. But me being me, I want to over-research it before I pull the trigger. That's just the way that I am. So, yeah. I'm still doing research on it. But I learned how they are coded or named. Like, if they're like 8E, 8I, 6E, 6I, based on how many drives they support, and what's it called? If they're internal versus external, things like that. So I'm slowly learning these things. But, yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, I did go back and watch that video because it also reflected on the things that we talked about on Discord that one night as well. And I was like, yes. When you first dropped that video, I don't think I was like spinning up a server was even in my thoughts at that time. So information does not stick. And then when we talked about it that night, I was like, okay, I'm actually now more reasonably considering, and that was like months ago by this point. So I went back and watched it, and now everything was like, oh, this makes sense now. Like, I can watch this and like kind of understand things. So yeah. Is anyone running network storage with Linux? What kind of case are you using? I shared it earlier. It's from a company called Dark Rock. It is I don't know how. I've seen some videos on this. I think this is a newer brand and case. I think. If not, then they're just not super popular. Because everyone's going with like the fractal defined cases, right? That's like the go-to. And what was the other one? Is it a Thermaltake? But yeah, I'm going with this one because it says 12 hard drives, but I think it's kind of misleading. It's 10 3.5s, and I think 2 2.5s, which I'm not running any 2.5 drives in the array, but it has support for 10 3.5s, which I should be good for a long time. Like, I know I have a lot of storage, but it took me years to build that up. I'm not just gonna all of a sudden exponentially explode and have tons of storage, unless I get super obsessed about downloading stuff, which, I mean, not downloading stuff, but archiving home videos so I can watch in my living room, you know, through whatever setup I end up with. Oh, this came out in 2022? Interesting. I think that one is pretty much the only new NAS style ATX. Yeah, so it seems like there's not many options anyways in the market. I have a fractal defined R4, which supports, I believe, 8, which would have been free, but the issue is, I don't know where I'll, like, the drive, like, the added extra parts for the sleds in the cage, they're not all there. So, you know how much it costs to, like, buy replacement parts for things like that. A case is $100, but if you want to buy a single drive sled replacement, it's like $10. And I'm like, what the freak? That makes no sense. So yeah, that's why I was like, I'm just gonna get a new case. You can 3D print drive cages. You could. You can. Tech by Matt, I think, is that his most recent server video? He printed a whole case. Is anyone having issues picking the NVMe as the boot drive on new rigs? No. You mean like when you have it in there and then you're installing, I'm assuming, Windows? And then it's like, oh, pick what drive you want to install on. If that happens, go. The only thing I think of is going to the BIOS, make sure anything related to the storage options like NVMe, PCIe protocols, anything like that. I mean, go into the BIOS and then go to like the hardware like summary where it has like the picture and see if it's even detected first. But beyond that, I can't think of anything off the top of my head specifically aside from like, you know, DOA hardware or the BIOS settings. That would be the option, the thing. So I asked Fractals to send me a new side panel and they didn't even ask for a receipt and just did it. Might be worth asking. Interesting. Maybe for the second, I don't know if I spin up a TrueNAS server with like, you know, a bunch of, with JBODs, you know, my smaller crappy drives from years. Well, but then I can't mix and match. So yeah, we'll see. Or if I mix and match, it's gonna default to the lowest drive, the lowest capacity drive. Yeah. Hearing you say JBOD got me bricked up, and to think that 1 or 2 streams ago, I think it was JG Wright who mentioned his JBOD setup, and I was like, what the hell is JBOD? And I had to look it up. It's just one of those things. It's pretty cool to be learning something new for the first time, like the excitement of it, right? Because we only have so many of those, I guess, depending on how much you seek that kind of stuff out in life. It's like when people say like, oh, I wish I could experience that thing for the first time. I wish I could play that game again for the first time, to return to Skyrim or to return to classic WoW and play it for the first time. Like to build your first PC again, to like spin up your first server for the first time, learning it again, you know, making core memories here. But okay. What the hell? I was supposed to be closer to a 2-hour stream. Now we're already nearing a 3-hour stream. I gotta go. Last 5 minutes of streams before heading out. Gonna focus on the stream. We are all really proud of you. Hardware Haven videos have definitely been popping up in my things. I've been subscribed to him for now almost coming up on 2 years since I met him at LTX, but I never like sat down and watched all of his videos. But I'm starting to watch more server stuff, so his videos have definitely been popping up in my front page or my login as soon as I get in. Yeah, and he makes a lot of stuff, and I feel like they're high quality videos. And just being a content creator, I know how much time it takes to do something, document it, and then make it in a viewable format. So huge props to him for the content he puts out to, you know, introduce people and to teach them about this stuff. Pause? What are we pausing about? People are so cooked. There's a demand for OnlyFans VR with mid-range GPUs when there already is better experience IRL. OnlyFans VR. Oh, non-server related. I was like, how's this related to servers? There's a demand for OnlyFans VR with mid-range GPUs. That's kind of, yeah. Interesting. Bro, why are people paying for things? I mean, I'm not going to say anything about paying for stuff when you can get it for free, because there's always a market for something. And if people aren't paying, then the rest of the people getting it for free, it wouldn't be free, right? Someone's got to pay at some point. Everything can't be free to everyone. I'll just say that. Thermaltake B21. Is that the one that we talked about, Jason? Thermaltake B21. Oh, nope, that's not it. You were telling me about a case that was like always 60 or 70 bucks. And I don't... Was it Thermaltake? I think it was. It's the new generation unks get behind paywalls. See you later, Shauner. See ya, Robert. See ya, Hazard Me. See ya, Incline. Any other comments I missed? What do you do with bit rot? I have not looked far enough into it. I am not balls deep. I am nuts deep. Oh, you're... My Chromebook is the perfect garage computer. If it falls off the toolbox, I go get another one for $100. N400, yes. Okay, it was Cooler Master. Yes, that was the one. Yeah. Let's see. What was the drive through? Yeah, because it like for the size, I think it had like how many is that? Well, and then you could change the top ones too. You can get adapters. You might not even need adapters, but yeah, it has like, but it often goes on sale, right, for cheaper. I'm trying to think, did I have an N? I don't think I had an N400 in a budget build. Yeah, I think I would remember. Cooler Master has other cases similar, that look similar to this, with this bar and the mesh, that has tempered glass though. I think I have a similar one to this. I don't think I've ever had the N100, but if I did, I would probably just have used it to save money. Danny only interested in homework VR. Dude, can you imagine doing homework in VR with a virtual pen and writing pad? I mean, I feel like that's what Apple's Vision Pro and all that stuff is kind of moving towards. You can just open up a fake thing and type in a virtual keyboard or write with a virtual pen in the digital space and actually do homework or at least take notes in VR. But all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the stream. I appreciate all of y'all being here for all the nonsense that we talk about, as well as the tech stuff. That's always fun. I guess some people already left, but there may not be a stream next week. We will have to see. I will put out a message if there's not a stream next week. I've got some stuff going on that, yeah, it might just, I might not even be able to like reschedule the stream to a different day. It might just be no stream at all, which I feel like hasn't happened for a long time. It is definitely not frequent. So, yeah, but thanks for being here. Fun as always. You guys have a great rest of your day, rest of your evening. Have a great rest of the week, and have a great weekend coming up. And I will catch you all in the next stream, video, shorts, on the Discord server, any of that. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Bam, 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 bam. Good night, good night, good night.